ki khubor ka Batisi TV lawan ra ashapi da ka Orange Nissan Loom so pho near Fire Brigade Shillong.
Haba jubab ya kejingkeli balawan ra ada UMLA ke Kongres Winnerson di Sangma la ka lockdown ha kasni Saitjain bat kasni Blei kandang peteng ni Menteri Rangba ke Jelau Konrad Sangma ula jubab baka syong ha ka kes jong ka jingpang COVID-19 la ka keu ne ka hiar. Haba benrap yang ya kejingkeli balai bahaban penbena dekat lockdown ha kasni Saitjain bat sngi Blei. Konrad ula juba ba menta kamdon Shuh ke lockdown ha kasni Saitjain bat kasni Blei habaro kawe ke Jela.
Chief Minister, please.
Mr. Speaker, sir, reply to Star Question 41A. Sir, decision regarding lockdown is taken based on the prevailing COVID-19 situation in the state. B, sir, currently there is no weekend lockdown in the state.
May I know from the Honorable Chief Minister, during other days of the week, Monday to Friday, whether this COVID virus was not available?
So I don't understand the question, what he's trying to say. But I'm presuming that he's trying to say that why only weekend lockdown and why not the other days. So it's am I correct? That's what you are trying to ask?
Sir, I'm correct and you are correct. I'm asking whether during other weekdays, COVID-19 virus was not roaming around.
Sir, yeah, it's a valid question. So the COVID situation has been there in the state in the last, especially the second wave, for the last many months. Now, sir, while we try to ensure that we contain the COVID situation, and a large part of the strategy while containing or while stopping the spread is the containment strategy. Now, so while we contain the the virus and try to restrict the movement, we also need to see the livelihood and the day-to-day activities of the people. Therefore, a balancing act has to be done. Now, there were times when we completely locked down. There were times when we had full curfew. There were times when we opened up for some time because people need to do their day-to-day activity. So therefore, to answer to the honorable member's question, is that yes, the virus obviously is there any time of the day, any time of the week. But the decision to do these kind of specific lockdowns and curfews in specific period is to see and balance out between livelihood, day-to-day activity, as well as try to maintain a containment strategy. And also to further add to the concerns of the honorable member, add means the clarify, the entire decision as to how the lockdowns should be and to what extent it should be in which areas. To a large extent, we have tried to decentralize the decision making because we felt that the conditions and situations were different in different districts. So we went for a decentralized model. We went for a model that tried to balance between the livelihood of the people as well as trying to do a very important part of the strategy, which is a containment strategy.
Why I raise this question is, I have in my constituency weekly hats, weekly markets. 4 or 5 weekly markets are there. In other weekdays, except on Saturday and Sunday, the activities are going on. This market which is supposed to be held on used to be on Tuesday, this is Purakasya market, is allowed to function their market activities on Monday. Then in another one, this is Batwagao. The market is always used to be on Saturday, but it is allowed on Friday. Why? Why it is allowed? May I know from the Honorable Chief Minister, who is the enforcing agency, law enforcing agency, to maintain the SOP during those days?
So the honorable member has mentioned a lot of different aspects, so I'll try to answer it in whatever best way possible. So number one, primary question was about the lockdowns on Saturdays and Sundays. As I've mentioned, it's not there anymore. But based on situation, as and when the deputy commissioners feel that certain areas the numbers are going up, then they have the liberty to take the decision at this district level. But honorable member mentioned about what used to happen earlier, that certain days the markets used to be closed because of the lockdown that was there, and the fact that they had to shift it. Now, sir, to answer that part of the question, it's very clear that so there is no perfect way of really handling a pandemic like this, sir. And really, every step we take will have its pros and its cons. Every step we take will have some areas of concern, and therefore a perfect solution can never come out. So in this entire situation, what the government tried to do was really try to balance out, as I mentioned, the whole aspect of trying to contain as well as ensuring that livelihood continued. So it was a decision that was taken that maybe the one way could be that we close the weekends, and that decision was taken. And as I said, there is never a perfect solution in this kind of situations, but we based it on whatever we felt was the best and the most balanced way of moving forward. Coming to the last part of his question, which he asked about, which is a law enforcement agency. So obviously the deputy commissioners, the administration, the police, all these aspects of the administration are the enforcement agencies who will ensure that these are done. Even the BDOs, the ADCs, the Deputy Commissioner's office itself, the police officials at the grassroots level, all of these are ensuring that these kind of activities are, the SOPs are maintained. And of course, in these situations also, sir, the scale is so big. So definitely, it's not possible that the agencies can go down and every individual, the 38 lakh people in the state can be monitored at any given time. So it's a joint responsibility at the end of the day for the citizens also to ensure that they also act responsibly. And obviously the administration also tries to do its best to ensure that the SOPs are followed.
Sir, may I know from the Honorable Chief Minister whether detailed inquiry will be done on the failure to maintain this law and order during those days, and whether action will be taken against those responsible law enforcing agency people?
So there is no inquiry that needs to be done in this. What was important at that point in time was that the SOPs should be followed, and the law enforcement agencies have gone ahead and fined a lot of people for not following the protocols and the SOPs that were set. So those aspects have been done, and as I mentioned, so that there is no perfect way of really looking at this. It's a collective responsibility is the best way I would say it. And the agencies and the law enforcement agencies and the officials have done the best that they could do. But at the end of the day, this is a collective fight that we as a society had to do. And that's why we saw that even the headmans, the Rangbashnongs, Nokmas, organizations, everybody worked together to ensure that the enforcement was done and people followed protocols. In fact, in some of the villages, it was the village headmen and the Rangbashnongs and the headmans and the local community that actually made sure that the people were following certain protocols. So that's how it was. So I don't see the logic or the reasoning at this point in time to have any kind of inquiry into people who did not follow the protocols.
Mr. Speaker, sir, see, no one expects perfection while dealing with pandemic of this scale. But not being able to be perfect cannot be an excuse not to correct things, because pandemic is still around us. We cannot say that pandemic will not make its impact on our life. It impacts everybody's life. Now, therefore, perfection is out of question. But if we say that is, now I could hear the Honorable CM saying that this is, means everybody has tried their best. If this is the best, I'm sorry, we cannot expect any more. Yeah, if this is the best, how do we claim that this is the best? I mean, we have put our best efforts. See, now I think the questioner is very clear in one aspect. Now the district administrations have resorted to changing the market days, Tuesday to Wednesday or Tuesday to Friday. How does it help?
Yeah, honorable member.
Mr. Speaker, sir, how does it help this way?
This is a question hour, so let us place the question. Maybe we can discuss.
I'm coming to the question, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Please.
So how does it help if the day of the market is only shifted without ensuring that the SOPs are strictly implemented on the ground zero? We see markets of Tuesday being shifted to Wednesday. The same crowd. So no SOPs are being enforced. That is the question.
So as I mentioned in my reply, that the agencies and the officials who were involved in ensuring that the SOPs are followed have done their part, and to the best of their ability. And obviously, if the improvement and suggestions are there, we'll be happy to take the suggestions. But as I said, it's a collective fight. It's a situation that's very dynamic. It keeps changing. So therefore, in a situation like this, I'm again repeating myself, but there will never be a perfect solution that is there. So it's a dynamic situation, and we adapt to the situation. We try to work and balance out, as I said, at the end of the day, the livelihood of the people, the day-to-day activities of the people, and on the other hand, the overall safety of the people. So if the suggestions are there, we're happy to take suggestions, sir. But I must say that from our side and the government side and the official side, especially the administration, so this has been a long battle. When you work for 1.5 years like this continuously, every individual, whether it's doctors, whether it's the police people, whether the municipal, whether deputy commissioner, they're all human beings, sir. And therefore, for them to continuously work for 1.5 years is also something really, really, admirable. And we must all appreciate the kind of work that our officials have given in. It's not easy. If you had asked them to work for 1 month, 2 months, they can do it. But sir, imagine for day after day, month after month, year after year, doing this kind of work is not as simple. So therefore, looking at all these aspects and all these challenges, my point was that we have done our best. Our officials have really put in more efforts and done the best that they could. But obviously, as I said, as a government, we are always open to suggestions. Whenever, sir, you have called a meeting, whenever the honorable members have given the suggestions, we have taken that very positively and acted upon those suggestions in a very positive manner. And even now, if there are positive suggestions, we're happy to take them, sir.
Yes, Vice Chancellor.
Honorable Speaker, sir, we understand the difficulties that everybody is facing, including the government and the people, with this pandemic around. But within the city limits, we have observed that the most vulnerable sections of society are the daily wage earners and the domestic help, those who go house to house working and earning their living. In this case, if we have to have lockdowns or partial lockdowns, will the Honorable Chief Minister consider that these sections of society should be allowed to move around to do and continue their work with the help of getting them registered through the Rambashnams? Because the opening of shops also has been regulated by the Rambashnam, especially, at least in my area, in Rinja and Ubling. So if these workers also are given a permission from the Rambashnam, saying they're genuine laborers, so they can go from locality to locality and earn their living. That is what I ask for them, sir.
Sir, of course, everything will depend on the situation that unfolds, but definitely we'll take the suggestion and we'll note the suggestion given by the honourable member.
Bazinet, please.
Mr. Speaker, sir, looking at the question, it seems to be very simple, but then it is very, very important, sir. So, I don't find the logic pertaining to this principal question. By making lockdown on only Saturday and Sunday and other weekdays are open. Because It is done in Southwest Garo Hills and West Garo Hills. Blanket order was given. And the shops are allowed to open up to 1 o'clock only. Up to 1 o'clock. In the process, what happened? The consumers, the buyers, they rush. Oh, it is now 11 o'clock. I will not get the commodities to be bought. So they rush. Means if it would have been for the whole day, people would be divided. People will be divided. Then overcrowded could have been avoided. Even in Shillong, only one shop is allowed in one market. What is this? Every buyer is concentrating in the one shop only. And it has been the perception of the people and the narrative being created that only the favored shop owners are allowed to open. So I need the clarification and whether the government is willing to rectify it in future, because we never know, we may be confronted more in future also by this COVID.
Sir, number one, as the days have gone and as the numbers have been slightly better compared to the past, the COVID numbers. So we have relaxed a lot. We have opened up. We are allowing more shops to be open. We are allowing more days in which the activities can take place. And as my primary reply to the second question was that currently there is no weekend lockdown. So therefore things have changed. But coming to the point which the honorable member had mentioned that there was crowding and it should have been open for a longer time. So as I said, sir, every action or every decision will have its pros and cons. Now, if you open it fully and allow, then tomorrow the honorable member would have said, why did you allow the whole day to be open? Now people are moving around freely every day and doing this. If you open it only for a few hours, they will say, why did you open for a few hours? So there is plus and minus to every decision, sir. So I have mentioned it right in the beginning that there is no perfect solution. But we have done whatever we could to balance the situation, keeping in mind the livelihood of the people, the needs of the people, at the same time keeping a system in which there is some check. And those checks can change, and we can, we've been very flexible, and there is a reason why we decentralized decision making. We did not give the order as we went along. Of course, in the beginning, there was a sudden grip, and that's the reason why we had to take control here. But as we saw the situation being very different and fluid in different areas, we allowed the deputy commissioners to take the decision. And that is where the deputy commissioners then took a decision whether a particular area, a particular market, a particular town needs to be opened or closed. So we went for a very flexible decision making, and that's how it has been. And that is the nature of these kind of situations. And therefore, as I said, I repeat myself, sir, that there will never be a perfect solution. There will always be pros and cons, but we are doing it in the best interest of balancing both these factors.
Yeah, come on, please.
So in the course of the reply of the Honourable Chief Minister, to start question number 41, sir, he had mentioned a fine that was imposed for the breaking of any SOPs. May I inquire from the Honourable Chief Minister, what are the parameters for the application of fine and what is the fine?
So I require notice for that. Those details are not with me right now.
Sir, my supplementary question is very important, sir. So if wearing of mask qualifies to the application of fine, what is the amounts collected from the various VVIP gatherings that we have witnessed through media reports in the last 1.5 years, sir?
Again, sir, I don't have the information. I need notice for it.
Now innocent.
Sir, in the course of his reply, the Honorable Chief Minister has said that the decision is decentralized. Then who are the people being consulted by the government? May I know this?
I didn't get the question, sir.
Can you repeat the question, please?
In the course of the reply of the Honorable CM, he said that the decision is being consulted and it is decentralized. Who are the people who are being consulted and why it is decentralized, and who are the responsible people who are being consulted for decision making?
Sir, I'll try to answer the question. I didn't mention about any consulting or anything like that. I mentioned that in order to ensure that local factors and local situation is taken into consideration, and the COVID factors being very dynamic in nature, it is more appropriate for decisions to be taken at the district level. So therefore, in some cases, the numbers may be very high in a particular district, and another district it may be very low. So it would be unfair for the lockdown or a closure to be happening in an area which has very low numbers just because the government and the secretariat, we all sitting in Shillong, feel that it should be closed. So that is the logic behind this entire decentralized decision making, that depending on the local situation that is there, the deputy commissioners had the power to decide on what should be closed, open, when and where. So that's number one. Number two, regarding consulting, obviously, sir, in these factors, the deputy commissioner, though I didn't say the word consulting, but he has a point, that obviously the deputy commissioner will not take a decision on his own. So he will also talk to the public, he will talk to different organizations, the headmen, or he or she will speak to the different representatives, or will also take suggestions from individuals or officials. So obviously that is a factor that the deputy commissioners will decide. But as I said, from the government point of view, we felt that decentralized model would be better.
George, please.
Honorable Speaker, sir, the decision to decentralize and giving the district administrations to take various orders and maybe looking at the local situation, bring about the orders of COVID protocols and ensure that they are implemented in the past few months, also has its drawbacks. For example, like East Khasi Hills having huge number of cases, followed by Ribhoi. The number of days that the business establishments are allowed to open was, in one instance, 5 days. And in Ribhoi, where the cases were lesser, it was 3 days. So this brings a lot of chaos, especially resentment amongst the establishments, the entrepreneurs, the markets, where, in fact, they are not seeing any uniformity in the approach of the state government. One allegation is that the state government has washed its hands and given free hand to district administration and allowed the DCs to do, to carry out the duties based on their whims and fancies. The absence of uniformity also, sir, brings a lot of resentment. So I urge the Honorable CM to kindly ensure that at least in the opening and closure of establishments, there's uniformity and the number of days are allowed to be uniform across the state, sir, so that people don't suffer so much.
Sir, I'll just give you yesterday's numbers, sir. East Garo Hills, 0. North Garo Hills, 0. West Garo Hills, 0. Southwest Garo Hills, 1. West Khasi Hills, 63. East Khasi Hills, 64. So on and so forth. So in a situation like this, if we were to close things from here, then the members would have mentioned, when the cases are 0 in East Garo Hills, why is there a closure for 3-4 days? So, again, it's a very simple thing. I don't think we need to spend so much of time on explaining this. I feel I'm repeating myself again and again. But point taken, sir. I'm not saying that there are no cons to what this decision making is. But in the given situation, this would be the best approach with minimum inconvenience to the people, maximum security and safety for the people, and a bit of confusion where people might say, why in Shillong this, why in Ribhoi this. But given the circumstances, we felt that this approach would be the most appropriate and would have the maximum impact in ensuring that we were able to balance out between livelihood, day-to-day functioning, and safety of the people.
Let's move to start question 42.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, I would like to supplement with this star question 41. It is very important issue, sir. This deal with the livelihood of people at large. So I just want to get it clear. May I get a clarity from Honorable Chief Minister? why night curfew till date still continue? The citizen of the state would like to know the clear logic of the government. Because daytime we are practicing normally, while nighttime only chalk applying. May I get the clarity?
Sir, as has been mentioned by Honorable LO and other members also, that COVID is still around. Numbers are still there, and there is still a danger that numbers could go up. And there's a lot of talk about third wave. Point being, sir, that at this point in time, it would be incorrect for the government to let its guards down. And not just the government, but even the people in general. So therefore, keeping those factors in mind, government felt that the curfew at night would cause minimum inconvenience to the people, would not have any kind of economic activities as such. Trucks and all have to ply because it's even for other states, so that needs to continue. But this curfew aspect would ensure that we don't let our guards down. We are careful. We're ensuring that movement is minimized to the extent where it does not start affecting the day-to-day livelihood of the people. So it's really, again, trying to balance things out, not to immediately let our guards down and say, well, everything's okay and we're back to normalcy. So as we see the situation, as we feel that numbers will go down, we will take a decision on that aspect. But I feel, so the night curfew is a minimum inconvenience that is there to the people. But at the same time, it ensures that some sort of a guard and awareness and alertness is there. And also from the government's point of view, we don't take things too easy, and the public also doesn't take things too easy.
Thank you,
I have already moved.
No.
We have already discussed 25 minutes.
This is a very important issue.
It is important. We have taken up almost 25 minutes for one question. There are 38, 39 questions in this.
So don't let me recall.
Other members also have
Let me recall the past. Only one a question which had been discussed earlier in the past session.
Already, sir.
Only one question for 1 hour. How can it be? Sir, please, another one. Sir,
no, it is important. That's why I have given 25 minutes. It is important. That's why I have given 25 minutes. Otherwise,
just one more supplementary, sir.
Sir, please. Okay.
One more supplementary.
Yeah, be short.
So I just
ask a question.
As much as I can, sir. Honorable Chief Minister, sir, I just like to get a clear logic, the convenience and the inconvenience of the day and night. Because myself, I'm a night super traveler. I've seen what things going on.
Please put the question, please.
Therefore, I just like to put this one. God sees the truth, but wait. Thank you, sir. If you would like to clarify, it's up to you, sir.
Is that a question?
Yes.
You have answer for that?
I don't have answer for
Fine. So let's move the question.